Players at the ready. Are you ready? Are you ready? On my release.
Tonight, I'll be eating roasted cauliflower tacos with spicy chipotle sauce. Thank you. Oh! Yeah! I wasn't ready!
You want cheese to go with that wine?
Good afternoon, air hockey fans. Today we have a game of Anthony Spanberger versus Scott Arnold. And this is going to be number 5 versus number 6 in Idaho. They both did super well during their spinoff bracket, which we'll be showing in a second. So the winner of tonight's game is going to be ending at 5th place in Idaho, which is fantastic. We got Scott Arnold on the right, we got Anthony Spanberger on the left. And we're also accompanied by 2 of our most amazing commentators. We got Seth Garrett and Caleb Buss, and they're going to be taking over from here.
Excellent. So here we go. Anthony versus Scott. It looks like they're going off, and here we go. It looks like Scott has the puck. Started off, goes for a cross, doesn't quite land it. Anthony with the puck. Anthony taking it over to the left side, it looks like. Goes for a right wall, doesn't quite connect. Anthony with the puck. Oh, Scott gets control of the puck now. Scott takes a shot, doesn't quite land. Looks like they're both kind of feeling each other out. Just taking some nice easy shots. And Scott with a beautiful stuff on a return. Scott with the puck, goes for a left wall.
Interesting that he's doing that. He's throwing in his right hand on defense, and then he's throwing his left hand on offense.
Absolutely. Being ambidextrous, I believe, you know, it can really be useful. I myself like to try to use my left hand every now and then when playing to throw off my opponent if they get too comfortable with my play style.
That's totally interesting. Super interesting. Scott's already 50% on his charges. Typically, a player is going to start out charging a little bit less in a match.
Yeah, it is interesting. Usually they aren't that aggressive, and he took over it and right back. Both players 2-2. Yeah, that's not something you typically see very, very often, especially not in the first game.
I mean, I've told several people in my career, sometimes if I'm charging, it's because I'm doing it as a last resort.
3-3 now. Scoreboard not quite showing it, but it is 3-3, I believe.
Yes. We got a slugfest so far, for real. This is... Ooh.
Both players playing it out good. Oh, with a beautiful cross there.
Yeah. Scott's really got to not pull back his defense if he's going to be able to block those straight shots. See him pull right back there. He's threatening the defense in the correct spot, but it just wasn't credible in that moment.
Right. A good block there by Scott.
Almost own goal. Glad he's taking possession. I feel like in that moment, Anthony probably should have took just another second to make sure he fully had control of the puck. It almost looks like he shot it because he wasn't ready.
Neither players are really drifting much with the puck right now. They seem to be very much so shooting just every shot they can right now.
Yeah. Scott with a nice
right wall, good defense there. Oh, and the cross gets it again.
Cross with the pullback. Look at this. His defense is ready in position. He pulled slightly back to his right and back, and the cross just sails through. And that we're at game point 5, folks. This is a quick game.
Very quick game. Both players are just hitting shots.
Charge back again with another miss. I think that brings him to 25% on his charges today. Someone needs to tell Scott, if he's going to charge, it needs to work.
Right. Well, see, right there, Anthony, I mean, he was passing it to himself on the left side over and over and over, and then when he shot the right wall. And I think that threw Anthony off because he was playing mind games with him right there by keeping it on the left side and then just instantly taking a right wall shot for the break for that last shot. Interesting matchup. Both players just shooting goals, and you know they're making their shots, but I'm not seeing a very strong defense on either side, and I'm not seeing a lot of control time on either side.
Yeah, I'm totally. It almost looked like, especially Scott, when he was setting up his shots, he just was letting the puck go wherever it wanted. It didn't look like he was doing a straight line in any particular consistent manner.
Right.
Look at that replay though. Hit him with that pump fake cut deep.
Yes. Yeah, both of them seem to have some pretty good shots, and they're pretty on target right now. But their defense, I want to say their defense is really lacking, and their control time. So we'll see what happens in the next game going in. Now that they've kind of both had a feel for each other, typically you start to see a bit of what's that called? A routine start to set in, and they get used to each other's play style, and you start to see a bit more defense come in.
Scott with the second possession won this match. 2 face-offs, 2 possessions for Scott. Let's see if he can capitalize this game.
Right.
Just misses
Anthony
that
with
cross.
control.
It
Takes a
like,
nice slow shot, takes another second slow shot. A nice fast cut, but he loses control.
and that's exactly
Scott
what I'm
goes
talking.
for it. Right.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. You gotta have control of the puck before you go to shoot it next. Because if it doesn't
And
score,
become sloppy shot.
yeah, this ain't hockey. This is air hockey. No slap shots here, folks.
Right. Oh, he just caught him dead. Beautiful right wall over, I believe.
Oh yeah. This is a true adjustment made by Anthony there, shooting a lot of right wall unders from that spot, winds him
And
up.
then
The opponent reads
goes
the
to
right
the-
wall under,
Over.
sails right past him. I believe that's the shot of the week.
Yep. Beautiful.
Ooh, goes for another right wall over, sails past the opponent's defense, just misses. That's 2 in a row. Beat the defense, didn't go in the goal.
Right.
Lines
There's
it up
a
with
beautiful.
nice cut.
Now, what would you like to call that? Because it's like he dragged the puck forward and then hit it. He didn't do like your normal, air straight. It was more of a, yeah, that shot right there.
That's just another way to contact the cut. Yeah.
Yeah.
Scott,
2-2.
Scott mixing it up with his left hand again. I wonder if he's gonna shoot any offense with his right today. Oh,
He's
setting
really good
up.
for a
Oh!
lot of straight shots.
Oh.
Or cuts and crosses, I should say.
Sometimes when I'm playing a game, I like to think, what is my opponent really good at? Typically, if you're really good at a shot, I find that typically players are bad at shooting the shot they're defending against the shot they're best at.
Right.
The theory there is you understand that it works, but you don't understand how to stop it.
Right.
Scott quickly ties that up 3-3.
Oh! Pulls it out on that shot.
What are you thinking that
Oh no.
Oh, that's an unfortunate error to tie it up 4-4. Let's see if Anthony can stay calm in this moment, keep the frustration out. I know that's tough.
Yeah. I mean.
Oh,
at least
and it doesn't phase him at all with that cut shot.
No. I feel like when you're down and then you do it yourself, it's a lot worse than when you're ahead or tied up. It's not doesn't feel quite as bad. Still pretty early on in this matchup, so I don't think it's going to be too much issue yet on the mental.
That's interesting. It looks like he's trying to combo the left wall under. It looks like when I say him, I mean Scott here. Looks like Scott's trying to combo the left wall under with the cross with this. Very...
I think he was over the line. Yes, he was. He was over the line, so he passes the puck back to. Anthony.
What do you think Anthony needs to do to sit his game out right here? What's the shot?
Anthony's getting a lot of good crosses, and his cuts aren't doing too bad either. I think what he's doing right now is working out. I would say that I do think Ron has a little more time the puck and maybe a couple offsets. Because I believe Anthony's really good at offsetting too. Takes the time for it, and then that will pull that puck the way from his goal a little bit.
See, I like that. If you see on his final shot replay, instead of shooting it quickly after, he has full control of the puck. He knows where it's going exactly, because he's probably done that hundreds, if not thousands of times. And then he shoots his shot, baiting Scott's charges.
Right. All right, we go to the chat here. Looks like we got quite a few people in the chat. You got this, Scott. Been a great game so far. Love the energy from both Scott and Anthony. Warrior spirit. And obviously we don't have Tyler today. We have Seth Garrett here with us. So we hope to see him maybe next week. We'll see. Seth, who do you feel is going to end up winning this match?
I mean, if the first two games are saying anything right now, Anthony looks more prepared. He's made quicker adjustments on the table. I mean, I might take this Anthony like 8-3 at this rate. Scott really,
you're not wrong.
Scott really needs to shut down his charging. I have had several players in my life tell me that I need to stop charging as much. And even when I am totally lost, I have no idea what's going on, I don't charge as often as that.
Oh, looks like we're in the next round.
And Scott looked like he won the faceoff and scored a goal too. That's quick start. Maybe he heard me and he's trying to prove me wrong.
Well, both these players are great players. You know, I've seen them both in person, in action. And I will say that Anthony is, I want to say, the stronger player. But I've seen Scott come back from some pretty interesting situations. And once Scott gets on a roll, it's hard to stop his aggression.
Scott taking a quick 2-0 lead. Pump fakes under that time. It's super interesting because he's typically been pump faking hitting a cut.
Right. Oh no!
Hitting with the Richie pinch, as we call it in North Carolina. Brings it up to the wall, pinches it, hits an over.
You know, that's actually a shot I don't see a lot of people do, is when you drag it up to the wall and you pinch it. And it's a hard shot to pull off, but I like to use that shot every once in a while, but I'm not sure what that would be called. I guess just a left wall or right wall, but it just seems so different as far as shooting wise. I guess a left wall pinch, right wall pinch maybe. I don't know. All right,
Yeah.
2-2.
Anthony saying, I'm not giving you this game. I'm not lying down.
No. He came back from the 2-0 deficit on this game so far, so you know he's got 2 games under his belt. And 2-2 in this matchup right now. Oh, Scott gets a third goal. A nice right wall under, I believe.
Scott is pump faking every shot this game. I don't think I've seen him shoot once without a pump fake first.
Might have been right wall over, actually.
That's a smooth right wall under. Sneaks right past his opponent. Scott looking like he's frustrated this game. Bangs a cross, though. Pure straight cross. Flies off.
Scott takes it.
Yep,
Takes
yep.
control.
That's a good call by the ref. I'd almost
43,
dock.
you know,
I'd almost dock Anthony his time out there. He pulled his phone out, changed his song. You can't. Middle of a match right here, folks. Be interesting to hear exactly what the ref said to him. I didn't quite catch it.
I think it was a defensive, like he even though he was defensive, it was he who hit the puck, so it went to Anthony Scott, I believe.
Yeah,
but I'm
he
not
was trying to
100%.
recapture his shot on goal
Right.
or off goal, and because he had hit it last, it doesn't matter that
Exactly.
he didn't have forward motion at that point. Scott shooting a deep left wall over, misses the goal about 2 inches wide, but it looks like it almost would have went in.
This has been the longest rally so far. I believe that timeout actually may have changed the momentum of this match. It'll be interesting to see who takes this goal now. You know, something I noticed with Anthony right now, he's kind of slow to go back to his positioning on defense.
It
I
almost
don't
looks
know
like
if that's
his shots are slow too.
I don't know if he's still just testing the water or what.
I
Definitely
definitely
interesting though.
I would agree that I think he is testing the water a little bit, especially with his charge style, especially with his pump fake.
Oh no!
I would be really
That
interested.
second time he's got himself.
Oh no! I would be really interested to see if Scott starts hitting one-offs without the pump fake first. I definitely think that would mess his opponent's timing up. His opponent not be ready for the shot that quick. Oh, he hit one that time. Again, he is mixing it up. I do like
He's
that.
been switching hands over and over, and it does make it tricky to defend.
He's got to
because-
be a little to go on that. He's got to be a little careful on when he does that. If you don't have a hand on the mallet, you'll get charged
Considered a
a
foul,
foul.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, longest rally yet. This has almost been what, a minute plus rally so
Yeah.
far. Neither player quite making connection. I want to say, I think they just need to get the puck moving at this point. There it is, a really nice offhand, and then of course now the goals start coming. Goes right
You
back
get
to
one,
him.
I'll get one, right?
Right. Get the super long rally, neither can score, and then everyone starts scoring. I think a timeout was called.
Yep. It's unfortunate. If I was the ref, I would have charged him that timeout earlier. Always shout out to our refs, though. It's always easy from the booth to hate on the ref a little bit. It's such a difficult position, such a difficult spot to do. It's scary,
Right.
especially when a lot's on the line. We're going for rank 5 here.
Ooh,
Anthony,
gets him while he's glazed. And now
Another-
he calls the timeout.
That's a good timeout. You're frustrated.
Both players.
Looks like. Is he think something's on the table? What's he doing? Oh,
Right.
Anthony over here.
Concussion, so he's going to go ahead and clean it up a little bit.
Anthony over here smiling, and he's down the point. This is game point 5, and he's over here smiling, laughing with the crowd.
Well, he is 2 games up, but we'll see what happens. Maybe Scott can take this one and make him shake a little in his boots.
Yeah, he smirked that, wipe that smirk off his face.
All right, here we go. 5-6. Scott with the puck. It looks like things are starting to move a little bit more. Here we go, and Scott does take that game for the 3rd game out of 1-3 or 1-2 now. Awesome job there.
Scott really
Scott.
might have just had this power play this whole time. He's like, I'm gonna lurch the shot. I'm gonna hit him with this pump fake style. It was
Right.
really proud of Scott that game. He mixed it up. he hit his pump fake and shot, and then occasionally he just went straight for it. That's a good time delay, folks.
It's almost like, just like how Scott switches hands to throw off the opponent, I almost wonder if they were playing at a slower tempo to throw off their opponent, and then bam, they sped it up right at the end. Kind of interesting.
Oh yeah, just
I like to. That's something that I actually really like to do when I'm against a better, more aggressive opponent. So let's say, for instance, my brother, or Nathan, or Spec, right? I like to slow it down when they are more aggressive players, and then when they are more of a slower precision player, I'll actually speed it up as best as I can.
Yeah, that's definitely a good strategy, and overall, you want to make sure your opponent is not comfortable. So if they're a slower paced player, you need to speed it up on them, make them feel uncomfortable, make them feel that shot clock tempo, make them feel like as soon as you get the puck, it's in their goal.
Scott Arnold has requested a 2-minute break in between. Each player has the right to 1 2-minute break, and he's requested that, so it's going to be 1 extra minute before the next match. Perfect time to go ahead and share this with your friends and family. And thank you for liking and subscribing.
Interesting that Scott takes another timeout, or takes his additional minute after winning that game. What do we think is going on there?
It just might be the table. He didn't like what was going on with the table. Hard to say.
Typically, when I'm playing a set like that, I only take my extra minute if I feel like something went wrong and I'm confused and I need to just think it out so I play solid the next game. But
see, I
Scott
am exact
was
opposite.
Clinic for what he wanted.
Unless I'm going against a player that I think I can easily defeat, if I'm going against a better player, I'll purposefully take every timeout possible. And usually in the most precarious position,
Scott's
but that's only because gotta use it.
Yeah, Scott's giving Anthony the time to focus and figure out what went wrong there instead of, I'm usually of the mentality that I want to get right back on the table. It's time to play, like.
Right. I think it's that some players are more analytical and they want to analyze or even go through that match they just had and what worked, what didn't work, versus other players are more of it worked, keep it going, keep the flow, keep the momentum, right?
Yeah. Scott with another face-off win. If we didn't miss face-off 3, I'd know for sure Scott's won every face-off this match so far.
Right. Anthony ends up with control of the puck. He's taking his time, doing a couple fielder shots, almost losing control though.
That was a solid off goal to try to hold possession. He's not going for the goal there, but he's bouncing it off his opponent's back rail, to be able to make sure the puck is in a position where he can stop it.
Right.
Ooh,
that was a really interesting shot.
Yeah.
Scott taking his time, bringing it up, and taking those shots.
Hit him with the left wall cross. Super deep shot. He gets it almost like 2 inches farther than where he shot everything else.
Right. Oh, sneaky right wall under there.
Almost looks like if Scott can get that deep left wall under to work, it might open up his opponent's defense. He's hitting a lot of overs there and a lot of crosses there. If he gets his opponent to hold the straight and banks it under him, he could make him worried.
In most cases, I would say that Anthony should be coming up to the line.
And
there it is.
That's how you charge, baby! That's how you charge!
And I was watching Scott. I'm like, why isn't Anthony contesting him? I mean, he's coming up to the line every time. And it's like, and then Anthony, sure enough, he must have heard what I was thinking, and he took charge there.
Yeah, that was fantastic play, folks. Sometimes If I'm charging and I'm charging correctly, I don't think about it. I feel like my body just takes over. Somehow I see it and I just go for it.
Holy moly, back and forth, back and forth. They put it on the table and they score. What was that, 3 or 4 in a row? Incredible.
And just like that, folks, we're on 5-4. Scott is up this game. Anthony's got the puck. Where are we going next?
Is Scott going to take this game and tie it back up 2-2, or is Anthony going to get it and make it a match point game style? I don't even know what you call that, but we'll see.
Set game. That's what we call it here.
Set game. That's what I was looking for.
I'd be interested to see if Scott's gonna shoot any unders. Most of his banks have been overs. Oh wow! When his opponent went for that defense and it still went in.
Not.
Oh, that's a good defensive stop by Scott. Flies off the table. He gets possession. Almost shoots a little
Had
nice
some time.
skinny cross. And we're at
Anthony,
that shit, folks. Show me!
6-6. This is it. 6-6. Will Scott take this game, or will Anthony? Anthony, he switched up his playstyle for the last 2 goals now. Look, he's slowing it down. He brings it up, and then he shoots. Boom.
Oh, that's an
Tried to go for a
unforced
cut.
error.
Lost control. Gets back control, though. Anthony
Oh!
brings it up, takes a cut, and he gets it. Taking it 3-1.
Scott's really showing some
Ugly.
grit here, folks. But if you see this
Absolutely.
final shot replay, his mallet moves back just a little bit, opening that lane, and then he moves back over. You gotta hold. Just like I was saying
stand
earlier,
firm.
he's showing a credible defense. It looks like it's an appropriate spot, but if you pull back on every straight shot, it's not credible. Your opponent knows the lane is going to be there when they shoot it.
It's like the movie 300. You got your 300 people. If a couple of them fall down, the rest fall. But if you stand strong, then you will hold up and be able to defeat anything that comes at you. So as long as they can improve that defense, hold strong, not get faked out, they will improve drastically. Anthony now only needs one more game to win the set match.
I think it's just set.
Then,
I think they're playing a 2 out of 3 sets here. So Anthony
right.
could take a solid lead and force Scott to need to win 2 sets in a row. And for the folks who are just joining us and haven't watched air hockey professionally ever before, a set in this setup is a 4 out of 7 games. So to win a set point, you need to win 4 games before your opponent does. So Scott might turn it around here, folks. Win 3 in a row and steal the set from Anthony.
Right. And the set matches are best 2 out of 3. Also, this is for whoever wins this will take 5th and 6th place. So the winner of this will take 5th, and the loser will take 6th.
Y'all ready? Get this one. All right, on my release.
All right, here we go.
Scott winning
Scott
another
will take it
face-off.
Can Scott take that W and win this match, bringing it 2-3? We'll see. Here we go. 1-0. Scott with the first point. He has control of the puck now. Anthony gains back control of the puck. It's an
Anthony
off
looking
goal
like
here.
he's playing with a lot more veracity this game.
Absolutely.
Oh, that
but
veracity
then he
can come back to
owned
bite you. Hit him with a poly python.
Go for another off goal. Tries to get a sneaky cut in there. Doesn't quite make it.
Scott up 3-0.
Takes another point.
I think this is our biggest lead throughout the entire night, folks.
Absolutely. He gets a beautiful left wall, and now he's got control of the puck once again.
And folks, that was exactly what I was saying last game. If Scott shows that deep left wall under like he's been threatening that cross, it's going to go in. His opponent is not in the spot because he hasn't been shooting it. He hasn't threatened his opponent to defend that shot yet. Anthony able to bait out another Scott charge, but off the goal. Into a cut, though. Let's watch this replay, folks.
Anthony coming back 2-3. I mean, it's still anybody's game right now.
Yeah, this is the second time Anthony has come back in the set so far. He was down 2-0 at one point. Hopefully Scott can think, I had a big enough lead, I can't throw it, but that towel's looking mighty white.
Oh! 6-4. Anthony or Scott could take this.
Scott really needs to close this game. He doesn't want to show his opponent any life so that his opponent knows what they're doing next game. Because he needs to win
There it is.
in a row.
There we go. Scott gets another game. So now it is 2-3. Scott sees some light here to still come back in this set.
We can't forget, folks, that we still have a potential set game here. It's gonna be set game. Pretty much could be until game 7.
Right.
Let's see. You know, as the folks at home like to say, we like more air hockey.
Right. Well, and here's the thing. I mean, it's a close matchup, right? And you know it's a close match. They both made it to this point in the tournament, going for 5th and 6th place right now, right? And so, you know, it's expected to be somewhat close. But right now, Anthony ahead, 3-2. You know, what's going to happen throughout this match? Is it going to start going more to one side, or is it going to continue to be evenly matched like it is right now?
Well, I know what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping to see a slugfest here. I want to see players make bigger adjustments. I want to see Scott starting to block this over-under combo from right of center. I want to see Scott shooting more of those deep left wall unders with his left hand. And from Anthony, I want to see him do a circle drift. I want to see the diamond come out here, folks.
You know, it's fun. It seems like every time we host these and I get to shoutcast them, there's always at least 2 or 3 shots that come out that are just like, where'd those come from? What are those even? And I'm really looking forward, hoping to see a couple more of those shots this game.
Yeah, to talk about one of those shots earlier, we had Anthony shoot this transition forehand cut out of the blue, just blisters right into his opponent's goal. Let's see if we can hope we see one more.
Scott gets it again.
Scott 6 for 6 on his face-offs. If anybody wants to learn the face-off, it looks like we're learning it from Scott, folks.
Absolutely.
Also, shout out to Centerline Air Hockey. They do have a fantastic video on face-offs. There is a lot of strategy in it, and Scott probably been watching up on it because he's winning all of them.
It is interesting. You normally see at least 1 or 2 go to the other player.
Typically, the face-offs feel more of like a randomized
50-50.
event. Yeah, maybe
Right.
60-40, but 100-0.
Scott 2-1. Scott keeps taking the lead now, but it looks like Anthony's keeping it even now. He's not going to let him get that far ahead this time.
Anthony knows he's battling. Interesting there, folks. I didn't see it. Did you see it? Did he miss the goal and Scott was able to block it? Or
I'm not sure.
Did Scott catch that on the way out?
It was a instinctual catch, maybe.
Oh, boom! Right with that over from a very similar spot he's been shooting that under. Looks like it's just a couple inches over. And Scott's over here worried about this right wall that Anthony's been shooting most of the night. For good reason.
It's been landing.
Interestingly enough, if Scott pushes his defense up a little bit, about 1.5 to 2 inches on the right wall, he'll get a significant more blockage on any semi-missed overs, though. It might help him out a little bit here.
Right.
Oh, boom, back 4-4. Anthony takes the lead. Scott ties it back up. Anthony takes the lead again.
Very close match. Both players, Scott trying to get another game out of it. Anthony trying to close this set out. He wants the set to close out so he can sit on the couch and tell Scott, this is what you got to do. But we'll see. Will Anthony close it out here? He needs 2 more goals, or will Scott come back and get another game?
Scott with a good capture goes out. Oh, Anthony eats that shot, captures it before it hits his opponent's side. Both players playing very, very significantly better in terms of possession than beginning this 5-5 from Scott with that deep left wall under again. Someone might be watching the stream and giving him advice from what I'm saying, folks.
Absolutely. Anthony's feeling the pressure to lock this game down, but Scott, it seems like he has the momentum right now.
If Anthony can get Scott to charge like that, and if he could just hit the goal, he's winning this game, though. He has missed, I believe, the last 4 charges.
Beautiful left
from
wall
Scott.
under. Scott only needs 1 more point to capture this game.
Show me
That
match point, game point.
Anthony with
Oh,
gets
that's
it! That's it. First set goes to Anthony.
Oh,
what a
such
close
a
game.
quick. He touches it 3 times, and it's in his opponent's goal. Once to slow it down a little bit, once to move it in the way he wants, and once with the perfect cross.
Just like volleyball, you set it, you launch it in there, and then you spike it. And that's what Anthony did. Beautiful. All right. So, first set, going to Anthony. I believe they will now go out and you can sit and talk to them and see what's going through their heads. What are they thinking? Who's going to win this match? What are they going to do differently going into the next set to stop the other from making points? Or what are they going to do to make more points? It'll be interesting to find out from the players here. Hopefully, I think maybe Nathan will come out onto the couch. I'm not sure. We will see. All right, going over to the comment section. Let's see here. You got this, Anthony. Deep breath. Well, by Rainsbarger, you're not wrong. He got it.
Hello.
He got the first set. Hello.
Going.
It's going good. How are you doing?
Gosh, I'm pumped.
This is Anthony. Oh, you got the first set. What a close match, especially there at the end, 6-6. And, you got control of the puck. You set it up, and you got the last shot in there. How are you feeling overall in this matchup?
Gosh, I'm always excited to play Scott. Me and Scott have always been neck and neck, so playing him, it's always going to be a close game for me.
Right. And I guess you guys are both playing for 5th and 6th place right now.
Yeah.
Now you are considered ranked number 3 in Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do going forward after this?
Practice a ton, work up the chain. Next goal is
Okay.
like Josiah or David, because they're really good too.
Well, with how close this match is, what are you going to try to do differently to stop some of these shots that Scott's throwing at you?
Slow down a little bit, because on the 5-5, or like when I'm at 5, I should take my time, as Nathan said. Take my time. Don't just throw it away. Kind of keep it in possession, hold on to it, and work on that shot.
Gotcha. All right, and then over to Scott. Scott, how are you feeling about this match?
Pretty good, actually. Yeah, I think it went really well. I know what I did in the matches that I lost, and I know what I need to do better going forward next set.
Well, what are
Yeah,
the
it seemed
things
like
that you need to do to move forward, Scott?
Well, really, like I always say, it's always a situation where when it comes to challenge matches, changing things up too much never works for me. It's ever. I don't even know of one case where that's ever worked for me. So I just have to force myself to stick with what I can rely on. And that seems to help keep me calmed down, because at least I have that reliability factor and I don't have to think too much, etc. But yeah, every time I try to make stuff up too much, it always backfires. And I've found that consistent 100% of the time. For challenge matches, anyway. Yeah. So.
I have a question for Anthony here.
So,
Which of Scott's hands do you feel has been more impactful, been more hard to defend against?
ooh, I don't know. It's kind of hard because each hand has its own shot. So you're like, oh, he's going to probably do that shot, so you're focusing there. But with the other hand, oh, he's probably doing that shot too. So you have to kind of put both factors in. Like, I can't pick which hand's harder for me to block. A hard choice.
I have an interesting statistic for y'all so far. We have seen 5 out of the 6 face-offs on the camera. Scott has won all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Game 4. Did you win that face-off, Anthony?
That's a good question.
We missed it.
I don't keep track of who wins the face-offs. Scott, what do you think?
Every face-off that we have seen has gone to Scott. He's either captured the possession or it's gone in your goal.
Yeah. Scott, what do you think?
Well,
Scott,
with face-offs, I'm very adamant to do a really good. With face-offs, I'm really adamant to do a good shot and really try to get it into the goal. And what's nice about face-offs for me is there's such low pressure, like emotionally and in terms of intensity. So it allows me to like really focus on actually getting it to work the way I want. So yeah, that's basically it.
I was making a joke to my fellow commentator earlier, Scott. You must have been watching the Centerlines video on face-offs because, woo!
Actually,
it's been a masterclass.
I haven't actually watched that yet, but I will. I plan to, definitely.
Thanks for the idea.
Got a question. Did you bring in the 2-hand factor to throw off your opponents originally, or was this that's just what you feel most comfortable doing is playing with both hands?
It's a combination of both. It's a hybrid. Originally, I intended to do it to throw people off as a strategy, but I had sort of a right side spine injury that was really sore, so I was forced to have to play only left-handed for 2 months straight, and that paid off handsomely. And since then, it's been fully ambidextrous. So it's both. It was a hybrid reason, actually. Yep.
Gotcha. What are you going to do going forward to stop Anthony? He's making a lot of shots on you.
Well, obviously the bad turtling habit is a thing that's kind of ingrained in my system that is, I don't think, going to disappear yet within the next few months. That's going to take me a little while to fully overcome that. So basically, my hybrid defense has been working pretty good overall, but there's some things I need to work on for sure.
We noticed when this match first started out, you were actually super aggressive and had a couple contesting counter shots. Like Anthony went to shoot it, and you countered it, and it was,
yes,
it was actually
successful
really cool.
charges.
Yes.
Yes, and it was right in the very first match, and I haven't really seen as many of those after that match.
That's an example of.
I don't know if that was something that was working for you or just stopped working.
Those work a lot better with the neon pucks at the arcade on Sundays. That's an example of something that I'm more comfortable risking on Sundays where there's less at stake. Challenge matches, it's one of those things where it's kind of like, it's kind of iffy. It's kind of a risk doing it. Much more of a risk than Sundays.
You're playing a more safe style.
Yeah, I have to play a much safer game on challenge matches.
I'll say from the booth, as one of the people looking at the stats, your charge percentage is not looking good. Just like Anthony's face-offs, we might the folks at home might be rooting for you to stop doing that.
I'd agree.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
A couple of things I've noticed with both players is your time with the puck, just air strafing, air dribbling it, and just taking your time on your shots. However, I do notice that when you guys pull the puck out of your goal and shoot immediately, you both are doing quite a good amount of goals off that. So that's working for you.
Yep.
Anyway.
Matt says, did I cut
right.
my hair? No, I did not.
Any more questions for him, Seth?
I got one for Scott, and then I want one for Anthony after.
Ooh.
Scott, when you are hitting your opponent with pump fake,
Yeah.
what are you looking for in their defense to figure out what you're shooting?
Well, with the pump fake, what I'm focusing on mostly is the precision that I'm going to actually be able to do the shot with. So as far as like their defense itself, I don't focus too much on that. I probably should focus a little bit more on it. But for me, it's mostly just focusing on doing the perfect technique and having the right power and accuracy. That's mostly what I'm focusing on during those shots. Yep.
And then my question for Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony, if you're get up and you're at this match point game, that you're at this point risking, what's going to be your final shot?
What's going to be my final shot? I think it just kind of depends where his defense is. If he's a little bit more up and a more fidgety, I'm probably going to go for a right wall under. Or if he's kind of locked in the back, I'll probably go for some kind of straight.
That's a wonderful answer from both players. I wish both of you so much luck in this next set. I love more air hockey, so Scott, I want you to know I'm rooting for you this set.
Thank you.
Boo.
Absolutely. The more if Scott wins it, then we get more time to
I want to see Scott win, and then I want to see Game 7, Set 3.
Sounds good.
Gosh, those are always
Game 7, Set
so
3,
scary.
6-6, down to the very last shot. That's always a fun.
To answer Matt's question, did I cut my hair? No. It's in a ponytail, just so it's out of my face. But he was questioning me about that.
Okay. Seems good. All right, well, I think we're going to go back to starting the game here soon. So thank you, both of you guys, for coming up and talking, and good luck to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well, both players sounding like they're pretty confident in going into the game or set match 2. So we will see what happens here. Will Scott come back and take the second set, or will Anthony take the second set and win it all and place 5th in this tournament?
Yeah, I'm curious if either of these players are going to be like Napoleon, the old French leader, who might be full of a little hubris. Because both of them looked confident. Both of them looked ready for this. They were talking like they're winning.
Right. And that usually isn't always the case. Sometimes, when you're up against someone who's tougher, but it seems like both of them are like, they respect each other's play and they understand what's going on. And so, yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. I almost feel like this could be anyone's game still. And I would definitely like to see Scott take this set, and that way we go into a third set.
Do we have the ability to put a poll in for the folks at home?
True. That is something that we normally do.
If the booth can, I would like to see a poll for all the viewers at home what the game count of this set's going to be.
Who's going to win this?
Or just who's going to win the set, yeah.
The poll is coming up
Or is it gonna
right
be Ant?
now.
There it is. Who will win, Anthony or Scott? Cast your vote. Let's see what's going to happen here. So far, 50% Anthony, 50% Scott. Oh, 60. Oh, 50. Oh, 67%. It is going back and forth. It's
Big
almost
shout
like
out.
they're playing air hockey right now. 75% Anthony, 80% vote for Anthony so far. Scott is losing the voter count. But, you know, that's what we love to see is the underdog story.
Looks like we have some love from Crystal Arnold here. Trying to give some love. Shout out to Mr. Scott here. Adrenaline. You've got this. Breathe. You've got this. Keep your possession. Maintain composure. We love to hear that energy from the fans in the crowd.
Absolutely. Anthony, for once, getting that first goal, taking the possession. You know, I think you mentioning that, I think he took it to heart.
Anthony really said, "Oh, I need to win a face-off." And he did not waste any time doing that, folks.
There he is, just a nice, smooth cut. Or cross, actually.
And that's it. Anthony's taking a quick 2-0 lead. Oh! Able to get the possession on the charge. Move left a little bit with that motion. Not letting it go in his goal, too.
Anthony swapping hands, doing his thing. It seems like he's doing a lot of left-hand shots right now.
I was gonna say I was hoping for him to say his left was doing better. I think his cross left wall under combo is working the best for Scott here.
You know, one of the things I've noticed with Scott's left walls and left-handed shots is they feel like they have less power.
Oh, look at that! We might need a medical timeout here, folks. Scott charged it right into opponent's hand. Bang! Little wince in pain there. He said, "Never mind. Good shot it is." Ooh, Scott with almost with half a diamond dripped off the wall, hitting it in the cut shot. That's a tough shot to hit, folks. You need to be able traveling your mallet to the left, hit the puck to the left more, and not have it look obvious.
Scott with possession takes the shot. It's 3-1, now 3-2.
Super interesting. Was able to drag the puck out of the opponent's defensive way just enough, get that lane open.
Ooh, a nice cross there.
Almost looked like Anthony was waiting for the cut that time and left the other lane open. This might be Scott's ability to work this set.
Those crosses right now. He's gotten 3 or 4 of them now, and I think he sees it, and now he's trying to take advantage of it as much as he can. He's found the weakness in Anthony's defense, and he's taking it to the right side and going for the cross.
Looking at that last replay.
Then he goes to the left wall.
Looking at that last replay, Anthony actually took Scott's move from him. He went for the charge, but he did a swing charge, so he was out of position when the puck was passing him, and then he watched it go into his goal.
Tough break there.
That's common for newer players to struggle on that charge a little bit, because your goal is to only end up in the spot, but you have to realize that where you're at, the entire charge can matter.
Right. There it is again. Scott with another cross.
Scott,
Anthony has got to be feeling that.
If I'm not mistaken, Scott has just scored 5 points in a row. Down 3-0, up 5-3. Anthony with a return, though. Scott throwing it right back in his face.
Scott may take this first match. There it is.
This is
7-4.
This This is the first time in the set, folks, in the match where Scott has had a lead in a set. Look at that position. A deep cross with a lane open for the cut and the lane open for the left ball. He's putting that puck. He's doing a straight shift from back of left all the way up to front of right and hitting it from there, making his opponent worried the whole time. Is he going to shoot the pinch? Is he going to shoot the early cross? Is he going to shoot that skinny cut?
And you know what a win that was too. It was what 7-4, I believe. 7-4.
Yeah.
Wins it with a 3-goal lead.
That is
Not
commanding way to come back. I feel like
know, he absolutely found that cross positioning, and he made what 6 goals in that match with cross. I mean, he found where Anthony is weak, and he jumped on it. He capitalized on it. He took advantage of it, and now Anthony he needs to see and go, okay, now I see what happened, and he needs to tighten up that defense there.
if he's shooting offensive goals like that, making his opponent charge like that, I can't blame him at all. He could do the same thing. Let him charge all day he wants. He's scoring like that, he's going to win.
Alrighty. Y'all ready?
All right, here we go. Game 2.
Let's see who wins this
Step 2.
face-off. Anthony again on the face-off. Folks, here, I might have had the commentator's curse. We might see a reverse sweep on the face-offs. Scott wins every face-off set 1. Anthony wins every face-off set 2. I might just be talking early, but let's see if it happens.
Well, Anthony now 2-0 lead, and you know this kind of is like what happened last round. Will Scott come back and start making a lot of goals, or is Anthony going to close this one?
Quick lead both games.
3-0.
3-0 both of the last 2 games. Let's see if he could not throw this game like he did the last one.
Right. He's got a lot of control, and he's in the zone. He is just making every shot. Not sure what happened with Scott here. Scott taking some time on one of his shots there. Now, Anthony, he just looks really good right now. He's hitting great shots. He's just got smooth movement with the puck. You know,
Anthony's defense looking
first time I see it this game.
stoic, too.
Absolutely.
Anthony on top of everything.
He lets himself get a little loose there, but you know he's got control of it. We'll see what happens.
I mean, with a 5-1 lead,
you're gonna feel kind of comfortable, but that's never a good thing because when you get comfortable, you get complacent. You start taking goals.
He had that stoic approach during the first 5 goals that he scored, and then right there, opponent shoots across, pulls back. I think it's time for Scott to throw back out his under.
Absolutely.
I am mistaken though. That cross goes right in.
And you know that's what happened last time too. You know, Anthony got ahead. He made a mistake, and then after that, his performance dropped dramatically, and now Scott's taking advantage of it.
This is really a big flow in every game. An ebb and
a
flow.
Scott. The flow's gone to Scott. He's taking the shots. He's got control. He's swapping hands. He's doing everything he can right now to take this match from Anthony.
That was
Anthony,
a beautiful play by Anthony. A slight touch on the puck, made it go off a little bit off to the side, was able to hit a transition, bang,
there it is.
bang,
Anthony,
end of that game.
Takes game 2.
No comebacks 2 in a row here, folks. We're tied up 1-1 in set 2, moving close on to game 3. Scott's defense looks like he's in a pretty relatively good spot too. Maybe a little bit forward, a little bit to the left.
It was 5-0, and then Scott started coming back. I think he made 3 goals in a row, and then
made
Anthony,
4.
Was it 4? It was 3 or 4.
It was
and
4.
Then Anthony stopped him after that. Yeah, it was interesting. It was very interesting. It was like I noticed that Anthony was in the flow. He was in the zone. He was hitting great shots. He had great control. And then when he had that one mistake, one like he lost control or something, and then after that, Scott just took advantage of it and just made goal after goal. It's really interesting to see.
It's really good to see. Anthony is a player that goes to almost every weekly. And when you're trying to get good at something, when you're trying to move up the rankings, move up, you need to practice regularly. And if Anthony's going to almost every weekly this past year, it's showing on the table here, folks. He was able to shut down almost had two ruthless comebacks in a row and was able to quickly shut it down when it was 5-4. It was before I even knew it.
Ruthless Real Estate is our sponsor today. I want to thank Ruth and for her real estate action. She's one of the best real estate agents there in Idaho. So if you're interested in buying or selling a house or a property, speak to her. All right, here we go.
Ruth is also very good at relocating. So if you want to join the Idaho air hockey community and you said, I'm better than all these folks, I can beat a pro. Well, if you think you can beat a pro, maybe check out their source compilation of the videos they have and give it a shot.
All right, well, here we go. It looks like Scott has the first goal, takes the lead.
Did he win that faceoff though? I didn't notice.
I'm not sure. I missed it too. I was reading something. Here we go. Oh, a slow cut or slice. I don't know. Hard to tell.
Yeah, that's one of those shots that Scott really needs to make sure he's not flinching for. A slow shot into the goal, a straight. You need to be able to be on that all day if you're going to win a match like this. Such a close fighting match.
Absolutely. You know, it's interesting because you get into the style and the zone of how the other player is playing, and then when they do that off-speed shot, it catches you by surprise. All right, it looks like I want to say it's either 3-1 or 2-1. It is 3-1. Here we go.
3-1, Scott. Scott said, "You might take a lead the last two games. I'm going to try to take a lead this game." That's the way to close it out, right?
Right. And there we go again. He's bringing it up to the right side and going for the crosses because they were working really good for him earlier.
Ooh, hit him with that forehand cut. That's the shot you wanted to see earlier.
That's it. Beautiful.
Oh, Anthony putting on a clinic to show your opponent how to charge. The wrong way, though. Forces the charge, shoots an under. It's on goal.
Oh,
let's see if
a little bit of a mistake there.
Yeah, unforced error. Loses possession of the puck. Scott's gonna take it. See if he can capitalize.
Right. It might change the tempo of this match. We'll see. Anthony was looking really strong, but it seems like when he makes an error, it definitely changes his speed.
Yeah, that's super interesting. If we make it to set 3, we need to remember to ask him that.
Right.
How are you gonna mentally keep yourself in the game after a mistake, because you're slowing down big time?
Right. Yeah, I mean, you can see it right now. He's trying to grab it and he can't seem to get control of it. And it looks like Scott is pulling him out away from his goal, but he still gets a really good shot. Great job by Anthony there. Scott gets really good control of the ball the puck right there.
Scott is shooting a high percentage of straight shots. If I was Anthony, I wouldn't be worrying about an under at all. If he shoots one, I'm just gonna hope my reflexes get it myself.
Right. And if you were in Scott's position, you would fake like you're gonna shoot a straight or a cross and then go for the unders and overs.
Yeah, but I'd make sure I shoot it from the same spot on the table. That last right wall that Scott just shot with his right hand is solid 7 or so inches away from his straight shot position. That's too big a difference for your opponent not to know a different shot is coming. If it is like within an inch, maybe, but we know at that top level, especially with players like Ramiro from Colorado, right a few states away, they're gonna eat you.
Right. Ooh, defensive. So I believe it goes to Anthony there. Anthony,
Yes,
5
sir.
and 4. This could be his chance to take back control of this match and end it. And there it is.
Scott really needs
Beautiful
to stop
cross.
turtling there. If he said it himself, he might not stop for a few months, but if he doesn't stop now, he's gonna lose. He might lose his match.
Right.
Anthony looking very confident, talking to himself, almost making a joke to the crowd. Oh man!
Right. He is not feeling any pressure right now.
You might as well
Anthony
call
is
him
very
Old
light.
Man Anthony.
And there it is. Anthony
And-
takes game 2 or game
and-
3, I believe.
Oh man, he takes the game 3, taking a lead, taking away Scott's lead that he fought hard for game 1. That's a pure straight cut.
Right.
His
You know,
opponent.
it's like you said. I haven't seen a lot of right wall unders, left wall unders from Scott, and when I do, they just seem like they don't have the power behind them. If Scott can utilize those with power, then he'll be able to open up more of his cuts and crosses. Because right now, Anthony ain't worried about those shots. They aren't connecting. They're not as strong. They're not as powerful, and he has no problem with them right now.
I think Scott's plan of attack needs to be block the straight, shoot the bank.
Scott has requested another 2-minute break.
This time, I agree with that one.
Denied. No.
Scott. The folks want more air hockey, and the folks want it now.
Back out to the table. This is war. All right, so I guess he'll be on break, which is, it's a good time to take a break, like you say. Kind of focus up and see what happened there, what worked, what didn't work, and then.
Sounds like it's a good. Sounds like it's a good break to check Zillow in Boise, Idaho, before we contact Ruth, the famous relocator.
She
That's
does
right.
an absolutely excellent job.
Yeah, you guys can give her a call at 208-965-3570. Ruth Kamichek. We call her Ruthless Real Estate, so we got all our Ruthless replays. She's amazing. Definitely give her a call if you're in the Treasure Valley area. She's the best. She really is. She's been sponsoring us for a while now. And just her and her whole family. It's really fun to see pictures of their family cheering on the players. They at home with signs made up, cheering for players. It's so much fun. They're fantastic. Please give Ruth a call and tell her that you heard from her about from us at the American Air Hockey League.
Absolutely, Nathan. Thank you for that. And it looks like we got another few minutes here, or a few seconds here, and then the next game should start after the 2-minute break.
Interestingly enough, for the folks at home, Scott and Anthony, looking at the world rankings right now, they're 1 apart. And they're also 1 apart in the Idaho rankings.
Wow.
Let's
What is the
really-
world rankings?
82 and 83 respectively right now.
Bad.
We're hoping we could really see Scott turn it around, shoot some of these banks, block the straights, and push set 3.
Yeah, Anthony definitely looking comfortable there on the table, spinning his mallet around. He doesn't have a threat coming at him, is what he's feeling like. He's looking very confident.
For
Lots
the
to see
folks at
Scott.
home, what's an SOTW goal? Nathan, what is that?
That stands for Shot of the Week.
Both have a few right wall overs. I feel like Anthony might have a few more than that. He has been shooting that right wall under right wall over combo. Shoots it again right there. Barely misses though. It would have sailed past Scott's defense though. Scott's lucky his opponent missed on that shot. Was able to capitalize. Gets the possession.
This is the first time that it's been 0-0 for this long. Typically, one of
And
them
there's
is
the
gone.
commentator's curse.
Oh, sure enough, I
Right into the goal.
see it is. Scott starts us off.
Scott
Can
needs
Scott
to stop moving his mallet to the
He
back
needs
wall.
to
If
change-
he is going to sit there, he should sit there from the beginning.
Right.
He's already ready to pull back. He's pulling back, and his opponent's barely winding up for a shot. Someone needs to tell him to focus and hold on the straight.
Oh no.
Anthony
that's
said,
the
I'm
first
so
time that
good,
he's
I'm
seen
going to
that
score on it
goal.
myself.
He's done that quite a few times now. I haven't actually seen Scott score on himself yet.
I don't think we
I
have.
haven't seen Anthony do it 3 times
Anthony's
now.
been doing it too much on Scott for Scott to do it to himself.
Right. Really slow. You know, those shots are just so. I feel like they just don't have power.
Oh, that
There it
was
is, though.
a
He does-
good cut shot. Sets it up, winds up, big pullback, pure straight, right on his opponent's goal. Opponent looks at it, says, am I made of Swiss cheese?
Yeah, you know, and it's interesting because he like the first 3 shots before that, they just didn't have power, and then that one, he had the power. He had the power, he had the angle, and sure enough, it went in. Ooh, Anthony with a double tap.
And a hoof right into his opponent. Left wall over, very similar to the shot of the week, just hits the other bank.
Absolutely, and Scott coming back with a couple more shots there.
With
4-4,
another
5-4.
deep cut.
Scott is sneaking it in on that right side of Anthony's goal, or left side of Anthony's goal, I guess. Right side of Scott's goal.
Now, if you were Scott here, are you going to wind up and shoot another deep cut, or are you going to take that bank now? Your opponent's worried about that,
You know,
about that
I
cut.
would love to see a left wall under. If he could get a solid left wall under, because I feel like Anthony is kind of hovering more on the left side. I think he'll have better odds.
I
of
do
making
think
that
I
shot
would
right now.
fully agree. And I also think it was a break his opponent's mental for defense.
Right.
Oh, that was a close cross. It almost looked like Anthony touched it just
Very
a little
close.
bit. He was also pulling back, but he stayed far enough that he did catch a piece.
Well, and that's Anthony's position. You know, he's much more forward in front of the goal, and so he has more time to react to make those blocks. There it is again. He's much more forward. His defense is really solid right now. I do want to say, though, he takes a while to get back into position. As a player, if I seen that while on the field, I would be taking advantage of that.
What are you shooting, the 1-2 combo? Hitting the 1-2 punch?
If I
Mike
see
Tyson.
him right next to the goal like he is right now, I would be shooting right cuts immediately. Yeah,
Scott was up
it's kind
5-4.
of, I think,
Now Anthony has possession. Are we going to see another turnaround, folks?
I think that's actually why Scott makes so many goals when he pulls it right out of his goal, right? The comeback shots that he makes. I believe that's because Anthony's just taking too long to get into position to defend.
Scott really needs to shoot an under here. No overs, no straight shots. Under. That cross, I feel like he sees that his opponent is
And they
cheating a
were
little
just
bit for the
soft.
cut, but because they're across, he's not making it. That shot
Right.
doesn't combo it. It's a tertiary to the full combo set. The combo is that cut shot and the strong wall bank. In this case, when he's hitting it with his left hand, the left wall under. Well, that
You
was
know what
good.
I find interesting with air hockey is what they call the garbage shot, right? Where it typically you go for a right or left wall and it turns into a double wall shot, right? However, I just don't understand why more players don't try to get good at it. Because I mean that shot is so hard to defend. Why not get good at a double shot?
It's a perfect shot for your opponent if they're too much in a rhythm. If they're too much in a rhythm blocking
Right.
your defense, it just confuses them. They go, how did they score that? Where did that even come from? I wasn't thinking they could hit that there.
Exactly. And see, right now, that's the kind of shot I might even attempt.
A
if I
little
was Scott or
confusion on
Anthony,
how
because
Scott ended
both
up
have
with that
yet to see it.
puck. What was that call from the ref? I didn't quite hear them.
I'm not sure, honestly. I don't know,
Scott,
maybe it got touched.
focus. Scott, focus. Cheering, maybe a little early. He needs one more goal to take this game.
He thought it was over. He thought that was the 7th goal, but it wasn't.
Oh, and that
But
was.
there it is. That was. 7-5. Scott takes it, ties it back up, 2-2.
Anthony looked like he was a little bit frustrated there. Like maybe his opponent went over on his 5th point shot. He looked at him frustrated. Like
Right.
talking to the crowd was like maybe
Did that
even
just
mad at the ref. I will say sometimes if you're losing a match and the ref makes a call you disagree with, that might just be the power you need, that motivation you need to say, even the bad call, I'm winning this match.
Exactly. He, he came back. Scott came back this round. He took it, and it's 2-2. Set. We're on set 2.
We're on.
If Anthony can take the next 2 games, he wins it all. If Scott takes the next 2 games, we'll go to set 3.
I'm hoping
it's
Scott
been a really
can do it.
good
I want to
close
see
match.
more
I wanna say
air
that-
hockey, folks.
Well, what I'm seeing though in the last game is Anthony is kind of slowing down. He is getting he's getting too comfortable next to his goal when he should have been in position and ready to go. I don't know if that's just because as the games go on.
I agree. It almost looked like Anthony assumes he's going to win from this point and is getting frustrated when it's not going his way and it's affecting the next few plays until he does something to try to flip the script for what he feels should be happening. He's got to learn. He's got if Anthony's going to finish in set 2, he's got to learn to quickly forget. He's got to have that short-term memory loss on mistakes. They don't happen. I don't know what just happened. Who owned goal? Not me.
And remember, the players are able to see all the comments. If you see them standing over there and looking up at the wall, it's because there's a TV there that's set up with all the comments. So they are reading your comments live right now. Go ahead and throw some comments in the feed, and they'll actually see it.
Crystal showing some love for Scott.
It's interesting. I didn't see too much changing with Scott, but yet he still took that game. I want to say that was because of Anthony's overconfidence, maybe.
I do want to shout out to Mr. Neutron Jimothy from the chat. You are correct. We were talking about that earlier. If Scott swaps and lets go of the Mal completely, he should lose possession because that is a foul.
Right.
Crystal,
unless he calls a timeout just before the mallet reaches the other side. I don't know. Oh, there it is. The first point does go to Anthony. Here we go. Oh, a really great aggressive shot by Anthony there.
Anthony coming out swinging. He said, I'm mad I lost that game. I know what I think should be happening, and I'm going to make it happen.
And you're not wrong. You can see that he does. He has a lot more energy coming into this game right now. He's making a lot quicker shots. He's got he's holding on to it a little bit, doing a little bit off shots. It
almost
back
looks
into
like
his zone.
It almost looks to me like Anthony is like waiting to see where Scott sets his drift up from before he starts to.
Exactly.
I wonder if he's got some sort of read there. Like, his defense is getting set up in very different positions based on the start. Is he just doing that because of the?
I don't know.
Start position of the drift, or does he see something?
Oh, beautiful cut there. Anthony 3-0. 4-0. Anthony.
Oh wow!
All in the left side of Scott's goal.
Scott did not remember his defensive advice that the commentator gave him from the booth.
Oh, and now into the right side of his goal. Anthony is really coming out strong. Now, last time Anthony was 5-0, Scott came back and made 4 in a row. Can Scott do that again and take the game back here?
Anthony
Or will this
almost
be the first
shooting
7-0
like.
game?
Did you ask a lot of air hockey players that random shot might be a little disrespectful when you're up 5-0. You're not playing your offense at all there. You're just shooting to shoot.
Right.
Oh, that's a couple times in a row. He's tried to shoot a forehand and just totally whiffed. Third time's the try though. Wow.
Will he 7-0? Oh, will Scott stop him? He's getting distracted. He's smiling. He's getting too excited. Will he make it though?
Oh, he does it!
Oh, Scott! This is an upset right now. Holy moly, that shot! Look at this.
Scott
drags it
pulls
forward
back
for a
to the
beautiful
left.
cut.
Scott is pulling back almost the opposite way from where the puck is going whenever Anthony shoots a straight. If it's a cross, turtles back to the left and turtles back to the right and then to the left. If it's a cut, turtles back to the left and then to the right. You got to read it a little bit better than that so that you know what's going on.
Absolutely. You know, now.
And if you're Anthony here, coming off a 7-0 win, moving on to Game 6, potential match game. If you're Anthony's coach here, what are you telling him?
Just
I know what I am.
Take the shot.
I'm telling him, I'm giving him a little bit of,
and you keep it running.
If I was Anthony's coach right here, I'd give him a little slap up the head, and I'd say, play your game. Don't shoot any disrespectful shots on your opponent and win this match. That's what I would tell Anthony right now. And if I'm Scott, Scott's coach, what are you telling him?
I'm telling him, you need to get your defense in order. He just 7-0'd you.
How are you telling him to do that? If I'm Scott's coach right now, I'm telling him, hold for every stage shot. Make your opponent beat you on banks. If he can shoot that many banks in a row, he deserves to win, but you can't lose on those straight shots. They're too easy to shoot.
Anthony has requested the 2-minute break this time.
Wow. Just like Scott in set 1, after taking a pretty dominant game, the winner, is this the Idaho meta, folks? I'm from North Carolina. I don't know this meta. I'm not used to that.
You know, if I'm 7-0, I'm not wanting to take a break. I want to keep that momentum rolling, right?
I'm trying to shove that win down my opponent. I'm trying to take it all of the way.
But then again, it might also be a good play because it makes the opponent who just got 7-0'd have to wait longer and think more about what happened and how he got 7-0'd. That can play a mental game on Scott.
I will say, spec from the crowd, based on this picture, it looks like Anthony did a good job putting his hair in a ponytail because he did struggle. I would struggle with that hair on my side of my face to be able to see the puck all the time.
You know, and that's where sometimes you just got to close your eyes and trust in your senses.
Looks like our face-off coach or representative got a little cold. They put their jacket on.
Here we go.
It might be chilly after that 7-0 crush from Anthony.
Absolutely cold destruction there. And, here we go. This could be the last game of tonight. If Anthony wins this, that is it. That's it. He places 5th.
Folks, everyone watching at home, I want everyone in the comment section to throw Scott some love. Throw him some of that heat to try to melt that freezing 7-0 victory Anthony just had.
He's got to take 2 sticks, rub them together, and get that fire going because he needs that spark of life, to really come back and take these next 2 games.
Yeah, that's right. Does Scott have the flint to make the fire to force Game 7? We'll find out. We're about to find out right here, folks. Table's fully clean. No player could complain about the table being dirty. We're about to have this face-off here. Ooh.
Looks like he's going with the right hand.
Wah!
There it is. Scott gets it, and
Oh,
then he passes
barely
it, though.
loses it.
Anthony with possession. Scott goes
No.
for an offhand, doesn't quite land.
Now, if I'm Scott here, I'm trying to put one in the goal. I just got 7-0'd. I want to start up 1-0,
There it is.
baby. That's it.
A left wall under, one of the best ones we've seen him do all night.
Anthony's shooting his good shot, the good forehand that he has shot most of the night in his transition. That forehand cut.
Anthony says that one of our players is distracting him, but that will stop shortly, it looks like. And Scott now tries to get control, and he does. Scott has control of the puck. Takes a shot, and Anthony blocks it again. Scott still with possession, takes a third shot, doesn't quite make it, and then own goal, just barely.
It actually looked like Anthony got a little bit of a touch there before it went into Scott's goal, just barely touched it. It hit the left wall for his perspective and went in his opponent's goal. In a close match like this, it takes one goal like that to win. Is that going to be the turning folk? Scott's saying not now.
No,
not now.
I'm telling you, it gets on that mental coming off that 7-0 game.
This
Scott
pressure,
really
pressure. Scott really needs to start. Scott really needs to start getting possession and holding it. He shot
Anthony
4 shots
to
in
do
a
his
row.
drip. He's looking really strong right now.
Oh, and the charge!
Beautiful. Scott really looking for some help now, slowing it down, trying to get control of it.
Oh,
no! And
no.
another right ball over.
Scott's
That timeout.
really frustrated.
1-5.
Scott really needs to pull it back together. He look at him. He's getting his little stretch in. He's getting his little stretch in. He's getting loose back up. He's getting limber to win this game.
I think Scott just needs to get those left wall unders and the right crosses. If he can land those shots, he's going in. See, there it is, the cross. The right side cross. Anthony looking strong though, has control.
This
Going
is
for some
the point.
cuts.
Scott holds better on
Nice
that.
charge by
Anthony
Scott,
with
but
a
still
solid
good.
charge. It just doesn't hit his opponent's goal. He keeps possession though. Anthony's charge percentage this
Going
game
for another
alone
cross.
looking
Great
very
shot
good.
by Scott.
That was actually
Control of the crosses.
a little bit of a cut there.
This
Back-
is game point, match point for Anthony. If he can make one more shot, it'll be all over, and he will place 5th in the Idaho State Championship. Scott with control, slowing it down, bringing it way up there, trying to get Anthony to make a move. He gets and it's all over. Anthony.
Oh wow!
takes 5th
How
place.
many charges did he get in a row?
Beautiful counter
Oh!
charge into a straight shot. That is, I didn't even see it when it happened.
I asked Anthony what he was going to score on to win this match, and he was like, whatever my opponent gives me. And his opponent gave him the charge back into his goal, folks. And with that, we
What
have
a
the
beautiful
victory.
final
2-0 sets from Anthony. Anthony, the favorite in this match, taking it with an exciting finish.
Absolutely awesome job by both these players. Anthony just coming out stronger at the end there, just making a lot of really great shots. The charges Anthony did, they were very precise, very precision shots. Whereas Scott's charges were maybe a little bit less precise, but he still managed to get a couple as well. Very great match, great ending. I guess we'll go to the players now and see what they have to say about it.
Are the players live? Can they hear us yet?
Oh, unmute them. They're still muted. There you go.
There we go.
Yep, we can hear you loud and clear.
There they are.
Bum, bum, bum.
All right. Well, shoot, Anthony,
What's up?
you win it all. You placed 5th. How are you feeling?
I'm so happy. That was a great game.
Yeah, I mean it was interesting watching both of you play. Great match, man. That final shot, I didn't even see it. It was so fast. I actually thought it went into your goal, and then I'm like, wait, it's over. What happened? And then we got to watch the replay, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even see it. It happened so fast. Incredible job. Scott, how are you feeling? You placed 6th in the championship. That's still incredible.
Yes.
How are you feeling about those games?
Feeling pretty good. This is actually a good example to show people, like, no matter how much you've practiced, like, you can still get 7-0'd. Like, a couple weeks back, Matt 7-0'd me, but then I was able to come back. So what I always tell players is, like, it can happen to the best of us. It can happen to anybody. Obviously, I'm not super good at the game, but if that stuff happens, it's important to just look at the whole thing as a technical formula, because, like, no matter what you plan to do, stuff can go that way, but you can always come back the next game, right? So that's what I always focus on, is just, okay, and to be honest with you, what happened on those last few games, I wasn't exactly sure what happened, so I'll have to watch the footage again to see, to figure out exactly what it was. But honestly, I think, it was just, it's one of those things. Happens sometimes.
I gotta agree with you. Not by Matt, but I got 7-0'd by Josiah a couple weeks ago.
Good example.
But I always try to ignore that and push forward. Yeah, like, it hurts your esteem, but you always gotta think, like, I got this next game. Yeah. I can do this.
That's the idea. It's always the next game.
Like I was saying earlier, when you own goal, when you make a mistake, you need to have that short-term memory loss for any mistakes. Mm-hmm. You got to have that almost overconfidence, and it was beautiful. Beautiful air hockey from both competitors. I do have a couple questions. Who wants to go first?
Scott, you want to hit her up?
Sure. Yeah, no problem.
Scott, playing a wonderful match and a wonderful set. What's your next? What's your biggest takeaway from this moment? For defense specifically? What are you gonna do moving forward?
Defense. Well, basically, I'm gonna have to spend like 2 months straight. The only way I can ever break the turtle is literally forcing myself to play with my mallet on the front half of the table and never allowing it to go past the front half. So I'll probably lose a huge amount of games. Kind of like when I played with left. Same thing with like my bank shots. I have to force myself to do 2 months straight of just one thing over and over again. So with the left hand, I did that for 2 months, and that's how I get good. So the only way to overcome the turtle is to play not even allowing myself the back half of the table for 2 months solid. That's probably what I'm going to do, actually. Otherwise, it'll never happen.
I definitely agree that that's a good approach. One of the things that I was talking about during the match is if you have your mallet up forward on that traditional triangle defense, and you're threatening that you're blocking the straights, if you pull back and turtle, it's not a credible defense, and your opponent will eventually realize it and capitalize. And I will say, I think that's a big part of what happened this match.
Yeah.
Anthony scored a significantly higher percentage on his straight shots. His right wall unders and his right wall were doing business, but I believe it was the straight shots that cost some of those close games.
Yeah.
That is actually something I wanted to touch on too, is that both players seem to get too lax after a goal would be made, or the puck go off the table or something, and you would both have a slow come back to getting into a defensive position. Yeah. So that is something I would consider to work on for both of you. That's actually why you guys would make goals on each other so quickly off the goal, right? You'd put the puck down and make the quick shot, because neither of you guys were really quick on the defense right to start. But then you'd get back into motion. Very interesting.
So moving on to my question for Anthony here. So looking back, especially during set 2, it looked like what you were doing was waiting to set your defense after Scott started his drift. And I was just curious if that was intentional at all, and how you were making the decision, because it looked like you were setting up in very different spots.
Kind of going off where his mallet's going. Like, if he's kind of on the right side, I'll think, I'll focus a little bit more on that side and bring myself over, because it's harder to hit from the right side straight to the left, instead of, like, if you want to hit from the right side to a right wall, I can block that, catch it really easy, and see it better.
That definitely makes sense. So when you're saying that when he's threatening when he's bringing his left hand up to the top right side of his section of the table, you're focusing more on the cross there.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense, because he did start to shoot a little cuts there. during the middle of that set too.
Yeah.
You know, interesting enough too. I think one of the shots that seemed to really take you down, Anthony, was the crosses from Scott, and it didn't happen too often. But the left wall unders.
Unders really get me.
How do you feel about that?
I'm aware that unders really get me.
Yeah,
they get me a lot. But I try my best to block the straights, because those can be deadly. Because I think it's easier to hit a straight than it is to hit a wall shot, just because it's kind of a.
Agreed.
You have to like aim less on like, oh, which part of the wall do I have to hit? You can just, okay, bring it over slightly more to this side and bang, shoot it.
Right. Do you ever feel like it's a good idea to shoot a double wall or a garbage shot, they would call it? Because I feel like at one point there, I'm like, man, if just either of these players, it was, I don't know if it was last match, but it was 5-5, and it was like we were talking about that. I'm like, man, if just either player just took a garbage shot right now, just went for a double, it'd probably throw off the whole momentum because you guys are kind of locked for a minute.
Yep.
I don't think we did much double shots or garbage shots that.
I don't know. How
match.
do you feel about that? Because I
don't know if I saw
viewer,
one all match.
No,
to be honest.
not a one.
I mean, our practice match, we had like 1 or 2 of those. I had at least one practice match.
I try not
before.
to do them.
The thing is, I don't consider any shot a garbage shot myself. I call those jungle shots, not garbage shots. But my mindset is, if any shot actually goes in, it's not a bad shot. That's my philosophy. It's like, if you accidentally do a shot, just do it on purpose next time. You know, that's kind of how I look at it.
Just say it was on purpose. If you hit a bad shot and it makes it in, just say it was on purpose.
That's what I've always wondered too. I'm like, why not practice doing double shots?
Exactly.
Then it would not be considered a garbage shot.
Well, that's
if
something.
you got good at it and could actually consistently land it, why not?
Yeah, that's something I intend to do a lot more of, actually, because I actually saw a few players, they were actually apologizing for getting in those types of shots, and I'm like, why are you apologizing to the other guy? You got the shot in. Like, it's nothing to apologize for. I mean, so I thought that was really interesting. I was like, those people who are doing that, I might be able to use that against them and purposely do a lot of those jungle shots on them, so it gets them really heated up here, so it throws them off. So, like, interesting.
I don't like hitting jungle shots. I find them really hard to aim. And just like
they
definitely are difficult. I have a question for Anthony here.
Yep.
So you made fewer errors this match, but from the look of it, every time you made a larger error, it took you had long periods where it almost took you time to mentally reset. What are you going to do moving forward to shorten that time as much as possible, so that when you're playing your next close set, maybe even against Scott here, that it's not going to be nearly as impactful? Because there were several points where Scott scored 4 or 5 points in a row, either after an own goal or after specifically, a lot of the times, it was when you knocked the puck off the table.
I think it just gets in my head a little bit, like, don't do that, slow it down. And then I pay too much attention on that and not like the table and his play. So it just kind of throws me off a little bit. But I try to work on it.
Right. Well, going over to the comment section, we have Matt Bentley. Do you ever wonder if commentators ever read chat? Because this commentating is fantastic. We do read chat, and we do try to ask questions from the chat. If you have a question in the chat, go ahead and post it, because the players and the commentators love to read it, and we'll ask, if it's something interesting.
I love answering.
All right,
questions.
well,
It's fun.
Well, Nathan,
Awesome.
Is there anything else?
No, that's perfect. I think that's it for us today at the American Air Hockey League. All of us would like to say thank you so much for liking, subscribing, sharing this with your friends. A huge thank you to Seth and Caleb for doing an amazing job commentating. Awesome job to the players. You guys gave it your all. It was really fun to watch that. And so that's it. From all of us at the American Air Hockey League, we'd like to wish you all a good night.
Good night.
Good night. Have a good
Good
day.
night, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.